Welcome to the In Memory of Man podcast, a show dedicated to the brave new world of crime, artificial intelligence, and you. The future is now. Here's your host, criminal trial lawyer, researcher, and author, Robert Kiesling.
Welcome to the In Memory of Man podcast and the Robot Crime blog. I'm your host, Robert Kiesling, criminal trial lawyer out of Austin, Texas. The purpose of the podcast is to talk to you about everything related to AI and the criminal justice system. Well, obviously there's been some crazy developments here in the United States, but it's no news to y'all over in China and other places in the world. I'm going to just jump right into the news, do a little lightning round, and come back and touch on a few things. I'm going to change the podcast to probably about 4 minutes. That said, also, I want to give you news that I'm going to be giving out my ebook portion of Discredited Citizen for free. If you go to Robot Crime Blog, I'm going to do that up until May 20th, just to help y'all who can't afford to maybe buy a book or need some time to pass. It's dystopian and it's a crime thriller. Okay, let's jump right in. Article 1. Israel's Ministry of Health has begun sending text messages to people whose phones GPS placed them near a confirmed coronavirus patient, ordering them in quarantine. And that's from Reddit r/coronavirus. Google.com. A sneaky attempt to end encryption is worming its way through Congress. Now, what they're talking about is the Earn It Act, and what they're trying to do is really do away with any kind of VPN or backdoor, basically ruining any kind of privacy that you think you may have online or the internet. You really need to check out the Earn It Act and see where your elected official stands on that. Seriously. Yahoo News. Thai hospitals deploy Ninja robot to aid virus battle. We'll touch back on that in a minute. Robot smart helmets deployed in coronavirus fight. What is a smart helmet? Well, we'll get back to that too. Stay tuned for a little longer. I just want to get the news out to those that are wanting it, just are in a hurry. Bill Gates, MIT, very important people, developed new tattoo ID to check for vaccinations. That is through 21stcenturywire.com. We'll talk about that as well. Coronavirus, China deploys drones, robots, and big data in tech-savvy nationwide battle. That is the straighttimes.com. Looks like China, police robot patrol Shanghai streets amid coronavirus outbreak. I'll give you a little tidbit on that. The robot is basically tells you if you're not wearing a mask to wear a mask, and he's looking at you. Well, people are looking at you through its eyes, and it also will. It's taking your temperature while it's going through the streets to see if you have a raised temperature, and if you do, then it reports you. So that's real interesting. I'm going to leave that out. Lastly, Austrian telecommunications provider submits location data of users to check if people are staying home. Well, I'm not an Austrian, but I'll tell you that that's pretty disturbing. And now I'm going to go ahead and touch base a little bit more on some of the other articles that we were talking about. I want to digress on what I found in the Seattle Times. In the Seattle Times, the U.S. government is in active talks with Facebook, Google, and a wide array of tech companies. Now, this goes back to the original, what I was talking to you about the act that's trying to get passed through Congress. Let me talk to you a little bit more. They can use the location data gleaned from Americans' phones to combat the novel coronavirus, including tracking whether people are keeping one another at safe distances and stem the outbreak. Public health experts are interested in the possibility that private sector companies could compile the data. So that's not too far off what we were talking about with it looks like Austria. So that's pretty crazy to talk about. But back to the Ninja robots. The Ninja robots in Thailand basically are allowing doctors and nurses to go ahead and talk to patients through the robot, and the robot will take your temperature, blood pressure, that kind of thing. It also roams the hospital and does cleaning as well. So wow, that's a hell of a robot. So that said, then smart helmets. I was talking to you guys about that real quick on smart helmets. They issue them to the police in China, and then the smart helmet is able to detect the temperature of the person they see in front of them. Also, if they're wearing a mask, and then it uploads, and if that person is not complying with what the law says, or they have a virus, they just go and nab them. So fun. Bill Gates finally on that tattoo ID. That's some scary stuff. That's some pretty Orwellian biblical stuff. I'm not really into biblical stuff, but Orwellian for sure. And basically, they're going to be able to track who is and who does take the vaccine and who doesn't, all by an app. And I'm sure it'll be available to private citizens as well. Man, lastly, Denver police essentially have 256 Sentinel robots watching over the streets, and here's where you'll find them. That is denverright.com. All right. I told you I'd make this podcast quick in light of the circumstances and what's going on. So that said, please comment on my Apple iTunes if you would, or leave a review. That'd be great. And if Skynet doesn't take over by the next podcast, I will see you all next week. Take care. Bye.